My grandmother loved pretty things, and she could not resist a bargain. My grandfather used to say that he could not afford for my grandmother to save him any more money. She had a chest full of jewelry and a living room lined with curio cabinets that were filled with her pretty things, her treasures and her collections. So it may surprise you to know that after her passing, when asked if there was anything of hers that I would like, I chose this cast iron skillet. My name is Mandy Bingham, and this cast iron skillet is my cultural artifact. This simple cast iron skillet is a piece of my family's Southern history. Some of my earliest memories are of being with my family around a table filled with food that were prepared in this cast iron skillet. I would like to share 3 things about my cultural artifact. The first is the history. The second is what it means to me. And the third is the influence it's had on my family. Cast iron skillets are made to last. They hold their heat and they are extremely versatile. You can bake or roast with them in an oven. You can cook with them or fry with them on top of a stove. You can even use them over an open flame or a campfire. The patina, or the non-stick, the lining inside the skillet is developed over time. They don't come like this from the store. When you cook with fat or oil, it creates the beautiful patina inside. A hand-me-down cast iron skillet is way better than a brand new bought from the store cast iron skillet. They increase in value the more you use them. The History of American-Made Cast Iron Skillets, May 11th, 2018 article on southernkitchen.com shares that there were 2 cast iron factories around the time that this cast iron skillet was made. The one this was probably purchased from was called Lodge. It was in the neighboring state of Tennessee, and they lived in Mississippi. According to a conversation with my mother, it's an interesting fact to know that my great aunt's husband was named Mr. Porter, and he was a blacksmith who had a shed on our family property. So it's a really nice idea to think that this cast iron skillet actually could have been forged on our family property in that shed. Now that you know a little bit about cast iron skillets, I'll share what the skillet means to me. My grandfather loved to tease, and my grandmother was his favorite victim. They used to bicker, and all the grandkids would snicker at their bickering. But no amount of bickering would keep the meal from making it to the table. My grandfather acted as a sous chef. He would sit at the table and dice potatoes or onions or tomatoes, and my grandmother, Bernice, was definitely the head chef. She was at the stove making sure that the whole meal came together. And this skillet made the best food. I can remember having biscuits and coffee in the morning and cornbread in the evening. I look forward to one day giving this cast iron skillet to one of my daughters. However, it's going to be provided with this cautionary tale. My mother, Benny Woodruff, shared the story to me that my grandmother, Bernice, received this cast iron skillet from her mother, Mary Williamson. I believed when I received this cast iron skillet that it had some kind of magical cooking power because it had done really well for 2 generations. And so surely some of these culinary skills were just baked into the item itself. I decided I was going to be a little ambitious and make an oven cooked steak that was a recipe by Alton Brown. To my husband's dismay, the steak came out very, very well done. I could not believe it. I was looking at this steak and thinking I had followed the recipe to the T, and I had used the magic skillet. I couldn't imagine what had gone wrong. But I have discovered that this magical item, much like Thor's magic hammer, requires a person who has a certain set of skills to use it correctly. I have since learned that after much practice, I have made biscuits and cornbread, I've sauteed vegetables, and made other items with the skillet successfully. I even made a medium rare steak, but on top of the stove. I wasn't able to make it in the oven. That just wasn't going to happen. This skillet is part of my beloved family's Southern history. I hope today that you've learned a little bit about the benefits and history of cast iron, my family, and not to depend on inherited superpowers for your cooking skills. Of all my grandmother's pretty things, she used this item every day, and it didn't cost my grandfather a penny. I will always hold on to memories of waking up to coffee and biscuits in the morning and cornbread in the evening. Thank you for watching my video, and I look forward to reading your comments.